Hey, you. Did you know that you can live a happier life and it won't cost you a single penny? If you knew that you could live a happier life and it wouldn't cost you anything, would you want to know about that? Well, today you are in luck. I can't wait to share with you one of the ways that you can do just that. But before I get into that, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dahl, and I'm the lead pastor at Calvary Church in Alexandria, Minnesota. And I would love for you to join us either online or in person. Check us out, calvaryalec.org, Instagram, YouTube, or Facebook. Hey everybody, thank you for joining me for session 2 of a 5-part series about happiness. It's about living a life in which you are happier than the average person. I'm guessing you want that. And it might surprise you that social scientists, psychologists, and all kinds of international polling, they've all found that generosity is the one thing that will make you happier than anyone else. It'll make you happier than a bigger paycheck, happier than having children, happier than a new car, happier than any award you will ever receive. And today, we're going to talk about one way you can live a generous life. But here's what I promised in our first session. We're not going to talk about money. You see, talking about money and generosity, that's way too easy. We can all write checks and make a pledge to an organization. You see, infectious generosity is about something so much more than simply writing checks or making an online donation. Now, don't get me wrong, you should do that. But the generosity that leads to a happier life, it's about something so much more. So you want to live a happier life. Well, here's our first big idea. Shift your attention. Let me say this again. Shift your attention. All generosity starts right there, with a willingness to stop focusing on ourselves and pay attention to someone else and to their needs. In 2015, there was a man by the name of Joshua Coombs. He was a hairdresser and he was working in a London salon. He was walking home from work one day and he noticed a familiar homeless man there on the sidewalk. And that day, for whatever reason, he approached the man and he asked him, "How are you doing?" But then he had an idea. He had his clippers and his scissors with him. And so he offered this sort of street-weary homeless man a free haircut right there on the street. Well, what followed surprised him. It was an hour-long conversation, and it would be the beginning of a true relationship with this man. They would end up becoming close, and Joshua was so touched by the experience that he would regularly then head out into the streets of London, and whenever he could, he would do the very same thing for others. He would offer them haircuts for the homeless. He would even eventually cut back on his work. He would only work part-time in the salon so he could do this. He could go out in the streets and cut hair. Why? Well, it was rewarding. He would hear these amazing and harrowing stories of his homeless clients, and it was all a reward. It destroyed all his assumptions about homelessness. He would go on to do this same thing, get this, in 14 cities across the Americas, Europe, India, and Australia. And he'd share the stories of his clients on social media, starting the hashtag do something for nothing. He'd write in his book, "How difficult is it to just say hello?" Truth is, for many of us, it can be difficult to do this, to reprioritize our time, our attention. It's why we are often reluctant to focus on issues that others are dealing with. It will just make things too complicated. The generosity of our attention, a shifting of our attention, is being willing to be a little uncomfortable, to give up a little time, and to risk caring about someone other than me. I think that's probably why Paul wrote in Philippians 2, verse 3, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves." Here's the deal. You don't have to travel the globe or give haircuts to homeless people to exercise this type of generosity. All you have to do is to shift your attention to someone else and their story. Whether you stop and have a meaningful connection with a person in need, or when you see that sad post on Instagram, rather than continuing to scroll, you stop and send them a message, a text, or you spend 30 minutes researching a cause you think might matter. When you do all this, you've begun your generosity journey. And I promise you, you will be happier for it. Shift your attention. A couple of questions for you. First, when is it hard for you to shift your attention from your concerns to other people's concerns? And second, who is on your mind these days? How could you shift a little of your attention toward them?